Hi everyone, welcome to my channel today. My name is Samuel Dolbag. I'm a DaVinci certified trainer, and today I'm going to be showing you how to fast track your edit process by editing with multiple timeline in the same project. I've got multiple footage here and audio from ArtGrid and ArtList respectively. That is where I get stock footages that I use for my project. Alright, so now let's create a timeline for this. So you can either do the drag and drop, by doing this you can drag and drop and you start creating a timeline, or I'm going to show you another easy method of creating a timeline. So I can highlight all my footage here and I just right click. When I right click, the first option here says create new timeline using selected clips. So once I click that, it gives me this. Now let's name our timeline, so we can give it first cut. Yeah, so let's say this is our first cut and create. So what DaVinci does, it brings all the footage and creates a timeline for me. So as you can see, this is my timeline for the footage which I've got. All right, so this is what you can do in order to work with multiple timelines. You come to this part here and you click on this icon here. Click this, you've got this option here, timeline view option, this very one here. This is the one we're going to use. So you click on it, right? You click on it, and what it does, it opens a section here where you have your timelines here. And remember, we named our first timeline, which is first cut. So here we have the first cut timeline here. Okay, the icon here shows us our first one. So if you want to create another timeline, so what you do, you see this icon here, this plus sign. This is, if you click this, it's going to give you an option to create a new timeline. Let's do that. You see this? Boom. What it does, it creates another timeline. So if I come here, this is my first timeline. If I come here, this is another timeline. Another way which I can create another timeline is when I come on my file here. When I click this, it tells me new timeline, or you use the shortcut command N. When you click it, it opens this timeline too. So we can say, we can name this our second cut. And when you click on it, you see what happens. First cut, second cut. Okay. First cut and second cut. What happens with this method is you can only view one timeline at a time. Now if I'm on my first one, if I want to take this footage here to my second cut timeline, one way I can do that is to copy it, Command C. I highlight it and I copy it, Command C, and I come here to my second timeline and I do Command V, and it's pasted there. So if I want to go back to my first timeline, I have to come here and I can only view my first timeline. If I want to go to my second cut, I click here and I go to my second one. But now I'm going to show you another method where you can view multiple timelines at the same time and do your editing quite faster and easier. We're here, so you come to this icon here. You see this, which looks like a folder with a plus here. Here is where you create another timeline. So when you click that, this is what happens. It opens another timeline under the first one which you had. So now this means that you can view both timeline at the same time. Let's work with both timelines now. So let's look for a nice spot which we want to take from this edit. Let's say we're going to take from where the money starts falling, which is here. All right. So here now I use my blade tool, which is B. Now I cut this footage and then I go back to my selection tool, which is A. So I want to use this footage. So once I have this now, I can easily drag this down to my new timeline. You see what happens? So when I play from here, now I've gotten that section alone which I need. Now if I go to the second clip, let's do another cut here. What is this clip? Let's look. Okay, we also want to take where the money starts falling down. So we look. Yeah, there we go. There we go, from where the money starts dropping. So you use your blade tool, you cut, and then go back to your selection tool, you take and you drag down, and then you put this. So let's put on our snap. All right, so now you see I'm viewing both timeline. at the same time. But now it's much easier for me because I'm just dragging from here to here. So if I want to bring this footage here on this timeline, I can just easily drag it and I put it here. As easy as that. If I want to play the first one, I come here, I just click it and I play from there. If I want to go to the second one, I come, I click and I play from here. And then you can also rename this timeline. So this can be renamed by coming here, right click, rename timeline, and let's say this is our final cut. Our final. So you had your first cut, second cut, and we had our final enter, our final cut. So here you see first cut, second cut, and final cut. And also, as you create your timeline, it's also coming here. Your timeline is also here for easy reference. This is the first cut, second cut, and the final cut. So you see. So this is very easy. If you want to create a third one, you can also create another timeline by clicking the icon here again. If I click it here, it creates another timeline. So if I want to do a different cut, I can just come and I take say I cut my footage here and I can drag this down to the new timeline. So you see, so here I can now rename it and say this is my final cut 2, so like a second version cut. So I've got my final cut and I've got my final cut 2. So you can see, so I've got multiple timeline, final cuts, my final cut timeline, and I've got my second cut timeline, and also the first cut timeline, you see. So this is much easier. So you can have multiple timelines here depending on what you are, how many versions of edits you want to do. So this is a very easy way to boost your workflow and edit properly in DaVinci Resolve. Thank you very much. Please don't forget to subscribe to our page and also click the notification button. Thank you very much. See you in our next video.